When you have a show about an otaku who, during a visit to Akihabara, gets turned into a vampire who will die if he ever takes his clothes off, it becomes really hard to take it seriously. And when it comes to Akiba strip, the show makes the most use of this absurd premise to deliver something really fun, and I think that's pretty cool. The first thing to note about this show is that while it has the same name of the game it's based on, it's not actually an adaptation, but rather a spin-off that takes on a similar premise. The show follows Tamotsu, a classic Tokyo otaku who takes every opportunity he can to visit the town of Akihabara, the mecca of anime. As I mentioned before, one day when browsing his favorite shops he has a fateful encounter with a girl who turns him into a vampire after he's fatally injured trying to save her. Becoming a vampire in the world of Akiba strip comes with the usual benefits of enhanced physical prowess, but with the strange caveats of disappearing if you ever take off too many of her clothing, and being permanently stuck in Akihabara, as you have become a defender to it from the evil vampires known as the Bugged Ones. The show's story is focused around Tamotsu, his little sister Niwaka who is always worried about her brother's antics, the tsundere vampire Mayonaka, and the airheaded but amazingly talented American otaku Arisa, who formed the Akihabara protection squad Denki Mayonnaise, as they uncover nefarious plots to undermine the otaku cultures of Akihabara in a semi-episodic fashion, with a main plot that is mostly carried about character interactions. More than anything though, I'd say that this show is a homage to otaku culture itself, and more specifically due to the level of obsession that people involved with it achieve, for good or bad. With each episode, Tamotsu, who is a very entertaining character and pretty honest about his desires, and that reminds me of Araragi from the Monogatari series, gets involved with a subset of otaku culture and then subsequently becomes obsessed with it. And it's almost always this obsession that gets him in trouble, but that also ends up saving the day. The show has episodes about eating competitions, wrestling, maid cafes, amateur radio, audiophilia, custom PC building, gaming tournaments, and even one about that one pool that should be easily recognizable to most of this show's target demographic. With each episode you get to see what makes these hobbies so appealing to people, as our main characters fight to defend them with no expense of jokes and fan service sprinkled in. There's even a story arc about an evil vampire infiltrating the government and convincing everyone that otaku culture is degenerate and evil, and sends death squads to arrest every cosplayer and maid in Akihabara, burn doujinshis on the street and eliminate Akihabara of all otaku culture. The show gets really on the nose about how evil it is, with the government building having a very suggestive symbol on it. It's a very comical and exaggerated take on an issue that is genuinely concerning to Japanese otaku, as with the 2020 Olympics arriving, many fear that the government will try to sweep the more peculiar aspects of Japan under the rug to avoid international scrutiny. It's a show that definitely doesn't take itself seriously even when tackling important subjects, and that really gives you the feeling that the team making it had a lot of fun. Speaking of the team making it, there's a pretty cool anecdote about this show's cast. Mayonaka, Niwaka, and Arisa are voiced respectively by Takahashi Rie, Kono Marika, and Nagato Yuki, who back in 2015 were picked as relatively new voice actresses to play the three main characters in another Gonzo original show called Sorega Seiyu. It's a really good show that takes an insider perspective into the Japanese voice acting industry. After the show ended, the career of the three actresses varied widely in levels of success, with Ria going on to voice widely popular characters like Megumin from Konosuba and Emilia from Re:Zero, Marika getting a few roles here and there like Sachan from the last season's Mitsuboshi Colors, and Yuki getting, well, pretty much no roles. It's nice to see that Studio Gonzo went through the effort of making this a reunion show for them, and it's exactly why I picked up this show in the first place. Since we're talking about production, let's address the elephant in the room when it comes to this show. It looks pretty bad from an animation standpoint. Studio Gonzo really isn't the first one that comes to mind when you think of high quality animation, and this is no exception, with characters frequently being reduced to blobs in the background or really janky visuals. In a way though, they made this work to the show's favor, since I think in one point of production they just realized it would look like garbage, so they decided to make it kinda self-aware, with some jokes throughout the show referencing this. And honestly, things like this make me very sympathetic of a show. They knew it looked janky, but their commitment makes me believe that it's a show they had a lot of fun making, and that they really wanted to make, and I could never hate that. In my opinion, Akiba strip is a hidden gem, and if you're able to get over the bad animation and just embrace the sheer ridiculousness of the premise, I'm sure that to anyone who knows this feeling of obsessing over a subculture, this will be a very fun show to watch, and that's why I think it's pretty cool. As always, if you like this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.